Welcome to Medway Peninsula Model Railway. Hello and welcome to the next video in my building Peninsula Model Railway. Just giving you a little view of the garage. As you can see, it's fully painted. I've put some shelves up. That was a wire rack that was supposed to go in one of the kitchen cupboards. Didn't quite fit and works perfectly for holding paints and glues. Now, just using my daughter's Sony camera with video rather than the iPhone, so please bear with me as I get used to it, or can make a complete hash of it. As we move across, here are some of the posters I've put up using the Hornby and Hatton's formation guides. There we go. I quite like them. They're quite handy and they're useful for trying to make sort of realistic rakes up. Moving across now, that's my tribute to Justin Edinburgh and the O's season we had last year rather, resulting in promotion. As we go across to this part of the garage now, that needs tidying up. This area here I want to use to make room for my daughter who wants a little indoor fitness area, just a cross trainer and the mini trampoline. Okay, so that's the garage. Now, as I mentioned previously, for track planning I was going to use the Pico point templates that are available to download off of their website. I also photocopied some lengths of straights and also some fourth and third radius curves. It was just to give me a little visualization of how it and what could be planned. As we look in this corner, this is where I wanted a factory to go, so I've used the Metcalfe Models factory sort of blueprint just to see what could and could not fit in. This will be the factory area. Moving on to where the main platform will be. Moving round, and what have we got here? Just wait for that to come into focus. There we go. So that is, let me straighten that up, my first draft of a track plan. Now, after looking at Grant Williams's site, he uses Anyrail, and he uses it to the great extent, uses it at virtually every facility available. Has done a brilliant track plan, multicoloured, multi-layered, really impressive. So I dipped my toe in the water, so to speak, and I downloaded it. Also, I actually printed off the user manual and had my first attempt. Now, with Anyrail there is a charge, but you can download it for free, and what you do is you just go in, choose your size, make your grids up, and also for track you can choose anything: Hornby, Fleischmann, Pico. I chose Pico code 100 streamline, and you can just, excuse that just that little bit of, there we go, focusing. Yeah, so you can just drop and insert your track pieces. Now you are only allowed to download 50 track pieces, which can include things like the station segments. You can have signals, pieces of scenery, excuse me for a sec, pieces of scenery, etc. But you are only allowed to download 50 pieces. So, being a tightwad, I realised that if I done it in segments, this segment here, segment along the bottom and to the side and at the top, none of these segments had more than 50 pieces. So therefore what I did was to make a separate segment and then put them together. There are a couple of points sort of here and here where I didn't quite marry them up, but it gave the overall effect, and I was pleased with it. So if we look at it in a little more detail, this will be the main station area, and what we'll have is the trains going up, the up line down, excuse me, there we go, that's better, the up line through the station if they are the full length trains, which I reckon I can get. That's about 5 foot, so I reckon I could get a decent sized loco plus 4 coaches, maybe even 5, but of course they wouldn't be able to fit there, so it would be straight through, stopping here, straight through that one. Now just along here, and again excuse my auto-focusing, but there should be just enough room in here to have effectively a mini fiddle yard and a hidden section, but I'll go on to that in a minute. Also what will be allowed is the downline will get enough room for 2 to 3, well probably 3, maybe even 4 coaches. That will come round there and we'll be able to stop nicely in this platform. I'll also have DMUs coming out from this platform, just shuttling through there, and then there's just room coming off of this platform for a bubble car, so that will come along, around, down, across and stop in this platform here. So that's a plan of the stations. Should be enough for working. Looking over to this side here, this is where I wanted goods to come through. So again, they'll come into the yard, stop, uncouple, loco stops there, pilot comes, takes any wagons that are not needed to be unloaded here or to be unloaded secondly up and kept here. The trucks are unloaded. Again, pilot comes up, takes them, drops them here, comes back and takes these up, down, unload, back on. Now what will happen then is the original loco can come out, pick up any empties and take them away, or the ones here for the one will transit out, up, pick up, take away. So that's the sort of plans for the goods area. Here I'm looking at a sort of maybe TMD stroke watering and coaling stage, sort of here and here. What will happen is that the locos can come in, get refueled, back out and around. Now moving up next to the what will be the factory area, then up comes inward delivery to the factory, drop off here, uncouple, loco goes in one of these two. The factory loco, which I've got a 040 and a little Rushden hopefully coming, will come along, do some shunting there. Empties are taken up and are taken away by the original loco, so that gives me some shunting possibilities, an operation. So I am quite happy with that, but what I would say is anybody looking, can you please have a look and see if there are any flaws that you see, any suggestions where I can improve it, things you don't think will work. Anything really will be greatly appreciated. As I say, first real draft, and there's bound to be some errors. This area here will be a tunnel, and what I'll do is I'll use this as sort of parking, as it were, sort of a fiddle yard, but it would then mean that I could leave items here for swapping over. Not as bad as a hand of God coming in, but as you can see, this area here is empty, so I'll have a back scene that goes up along the tunnel, but underneath there will be open, so the hand of God can come in and change over stock, and it won't look so obvious as taking it straight off the track. Be grateful to see what you think about that as well. So not quite a fiddle yard. I can still have continuous movement if I am working in either the goods yard or the factory. There is probably just enough room along here to get the 5 coach, definitely a 4 coach train to stay in the tunnel, so it looks like it's not just a tail chasing, so I'll probably send it round once, leave it in there, and then it comes back out again. What we're going to do scenery wise, that's where the main station will be, on there. As you'll see, just at the top of where the goods area is, just around this area, there's room for scenery. Not sure yet what I'll have. This area here and along here will be possibly village. I want to pop a church in, and we can have a road that goes out and away for servicing the goods yard, maybe a road into the village. This could be the car parking area possibly, but then how do we get out, as it were? So could be car parking here, station building could be there as well, with a bridge over to the platform. Same with here, this could be the car parking area out into the village, but we'll have to have a bridge over to the main platforms, and that will be the station building. I'm sure I can fit something in there. That's my first thoughts, of course, on that. If you would be grateful if you would give any suggestions as well. So that's the plan of action. I say I do apologise, I think there's some focusing issues on there, but say it's the first play with the new camera. and here we go again. There we go, lovely. So there we are. Thanks very much for having a look at that. Please tell me what you think, good or bad, and then the next idea will be just to finalize things, order some track. As you can see, I've got a socket here and another socket there. I've got an extension that will be running through underneath, and then I'll run another one across and down. I'll have them surge protected as well, and that'll be my power sources. So thanks very much for having a look, and upwards and onwards. Okay, this is a model I picked up in the RNLI shop down in Eastbourne. We were there a week or so ago for the air show. I spent the weekend down there, had a great time. The Sunday was an absolute cracking day, and I would thoroughly recommend it. But to say, yeah, we always go in the RNLI shop, and love to support them. I spotted this for a tenner. Thought that I would be able to find a place for it on the layout. Ideally, if I have the room, I'm going to make a little diorama, but failing that, I'll have it on the one of the roads. Well, so yeah, very pleased with that one. Now for some shout outs and thank yous. A big thank you to all the new subscribers. We're now hit the giddy height of I think 35, which is, to be honest with you, more than I expected. There are some brilliant channels out there, and yeah, it's quite humbling. And also the comments that have been made, which have been very supportive. A couple of channels I'd like to point out are Grant Williams, who I mentioned previously in the video. He's got what the basis is of a terrific layout coming on. I know when we messaged each other, I think his modelling mojo had gone a little bit, and I really hope that he continues, because as I say, it's got the basis of a great layout, and it's been helpful for me because he's just a little bit ahead where I am, and it's great to learn from people like him. The second shout out is to Paul over at Sandlin Junction, which again is another great layout in the making. He's had some issues with the electric side of things, and like myself, he's not greatly confident or expert in the wiring side of things, and I think he's quite down. So he's had some really positive comments made, and I do wish him well, and I hope that he's soon back on track. Usual suspects on who has uploaded some great videos. Charlie over at Chadwick. It's a brilliant channel, and he's made a great viaduct diorama in his scenery. Picked up some good tips. Penny Hill Junction. Yeah, there's some great guys out there. Paul over at Gelgum Hall. Yeah, those are the things to have a look at and look and learn. So thanks to all you guys. You're doing a brilliant job.